Immortals of Aveum, a new exciting debut title coming from Ascendant Studios, a newly founded company created by gaming legends like Brett Robbins, who formerly worked on Dead Space and Call of Duty series, Sky Silcox, who's been working on Call of Duty since 2012, Michael Kirkbride, the founder of modern Elder Scrolls lore as we know it, and a host of former Telltale developers such as Daria Makarova, I apologize if I pronounced that one wrong, who actually started as a modder for Elder Scrolls Morrowind specifically, and wrote for Shoddycast as well. And then others, Clements Moore, who made the Palisade Bank level and Deus Ex Mankind Divided, which outlets such as PC Gamer explicitly called out to say it was the best level of the game. It's completely understandable why Immortals of Aveum has been living in my head rent-free since its gameplay trailer that we got just a couple days ago. How is it going, everybody? My name is DeMarco, and today I simply wanted to talk about all of the excitement that I have around Immortals of Aveum. I truly think that this can be one of the best surprise games of 2023, and a debut game at that, coming from incredible talent. I'm not doing justice by not mentioning all of the developers, from Halo to Borderlands to BioShock, and just all across the industry, team members coming together to work on this project. When it was first revealed at the Game Awards this year, I didn't really know what to expect. The world looked cool, there was some intrigue, it was interesting, there was certainly a lot going on. It was filled with color and detail, and all of it very busy, and I was left intrigued. I wasn't expecting this game to be releasing in 2023. They've been really hard at work just prepping for that announcement at the Game Awards, and then when it finally did get revealed with its first gameplay trailer, we find out that it's coming on July 20th, about 3 months after its first gameplay reveal, which is amazing. They definitely took a page out of Bethesda's book for this one, and I really wish that more studios would follow in a similar path, because this is an exciting way to release your game, and hopefully no delays sneak in to kind of mar that excitement that can build up. Side note, coming back to this while editing, if things look like they shift around or I look a little different, probably more disheveled, I pronounce the game throughout this video as Immortals of Aveum. It's Immortals of Aveum, so I'm just an idiot. Please ignore me. Enjoy the rest of the video. So what exactly is Immortals of Aveum? Some of you might be thinking just because there's some impressive names and titles does not mean that they're infallible, and that's completely fine. The idea of Immortals of Aveum founded on the premise of, what if you replaced a helicopter with a dragon, and you replaced a sniper with a mage shooting fireballs, and blending these elements of sci-fi and fantasy to create the world of Aveum where the game takes place. It's a world that's shaped by millennia of conflict in a war known as the Everwar, where various factions are fighting over the total control of magic. And throughout all of this fighting, two main factions in particular, Lucium and Rasharn, were the only two superpowers remaining in this conflict. Immortals of Aveum is a first-person magic shooter. What that means is, instead of running around with guns, you're running around shooting spells. In the world of Immortals, there's multiple factions that are vying for control over magic, and magic is broken down into 3 different categories. You have red, green, and blue. You play as a character named Jack, who grew up in the kingdom of Lucium, and Jack is a rare type of spellcaster known as a Triarch Magnus. It's someone who is able to wield all 3 different types of magic, whereas most can only wield 1, maybe 2, and you get recruited into this group of basically special operations spellcasters, spec ops groups known as the Immortals, and thus you're thrown into this conflict of Everwar, fighting against the other superpower, Rasharn. And this is the Sauron looking dude that you saw in one of the trailers. As far as gameplay in Immortals of Aveum, you'll be wielding the 3 different types of magic: red, blue, or green. And while there are some contemporary equivalencies you can make, for example, red magic is closest to shotguns, blue magic closest to snipers, and green magic similar to SMGs, to boil it down to that level of simplicity is doing the game a bit of a disservice across the 25 spells that you can wield in Immortals of Aveum. Red magic, yes, is high chaos and damaging, but can be used to disorient your enemies during combat. Blue magic is great for high damage, slow firing shots, but can manipulate gravity, can use force-like abilities including push, pull, or grapple, and also can be used to create shields to block incoming damage. And green magic can be used to completely block enemies' healing or their ability to even cast spells, in addition to also creating illusions that confuse enemies on the battlefield. Then all of these spells can be combined together, and an emphasis has been placed to create exciting combinations. For example, a spell called Vortex, which lets you pull all enemies into a certain point that you target, and then you can blast them with a follow-up called Shatter that shoots magical spikes at these now restrained enemies. And across the 25-hour-long single-player campaign, Brett Robbins has mentioned how there is attention to the enemy variety that you come across to make sure that it stays interesting and engaging. So you will come across enemies that, like Hogwarts Legacy, have a blue shield, so you need to use a blue spell against them. But there's going to be a variety between magical creatures, automatons that you fight, and the more epic battles of mages versus mages. The image that keeps coming to mind watching the gameplay is magical Doom, and I'm 110% here for it, and you should be too. If you haven't tried the Doom reboots, do yourself a favor, and if you like first-person shooters, check those games out because they're absolutely phenomenal. And that comparison is completely warranted when Immortals of Aveum itself has been compared to the likes of Hexen. If you don't know what that is, completely fine. I had to look it up as well. Much older game that ran on the original Doom engine and was actually made by id, which, surprise, surprise, made the modern Doom reboots. It all comes full circle, baby, and again, I'm here for it. It's almost hard to believe that this is an EA published title. It's part of the EA Originals program, which, credit where credit's due, has supplied the likes of It Takes Two, for example, which was last year's Game of the Year winner. And there's no you give me money greedy monetization tactics here, even down to the pre-order bonuses, which only include upgrades to 2 of the spells in the game that no doubt you could do without. There's no discussion about upcoming DLC. They actively stated our only focus is the core experience that you're getting here, and I respect. I'm sure there's decisions and ideas that have to get put on the chopping block for the sake of development, but the focus is entirely going into the product that we're receiving, not what they could cut out of the game. I respect that. There's only 2 editions, no super deluxe, ultra deluxe, the every deluxe epic edition. Nope, it's a standard and a deluxe, and the only microtransaction you can make is upgrading from the standard to the deluxe edition if you want after you purchase the game. All in all, this game screams passion project, which is what Brett Robbins, the game director, has been saying this entire time when he describes what Immortals of Aevum means to him, and I absolutely love and support that vision of all of this studio talent coming together to create something that feels unique and exciting and is built off of that passion for games and for creating games. And hopefully this brings in some new creative ideas that we'll get to see tomorrow when the full gameplay is revealed. I'm very much looking forward to that. So let me know, are you interested? Have I convinced you of Immortals of Aevum? Do you want to see more of it? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Now, as always, I hope to see you all next time. So long, everybody.